Hi, everyone, and welcome again to Crowded Beaker Solves. Today we are continuing our use of moles and molar masses, but this time we're going to be calculating a mass percent. I'll do one, and of course, you'll have a pause the video moment to do one for yourself as well. So let's start with this question. What is the percent by mass of chlorine in a compound iron 3 chloride or FeCl3? Maybe we want to know how much of the mass comes from chlorine and also then how much of the mass comes from iron. I've included the formula for finding mass percent. It's simply dividing a couple of numbers. You want to take the mass of the element you're interested in this case, the chlorine, over the total mass of the compound, and we'll multiply that by 100 to get a percent. And you might be wondering, well, there are no numbers here, so where do I get those numbers? Well, if you're armed with your handy periodic table, you have all the numbers that you need because you can use the molar masses that are on the periodic table. So I will calculate this one. So if I want to start the mass percent of chlorine, I'll say percent chlorine so that anybody reading my work will know that I'm going for a percent of chlorine and not something else. And so I want to go to the periodic table and I want to find the molar mass of chlorine, which is 35, sorry about that, 0.453 grams per mole. And I would look at the formula. At this point, look at the formula and find out how many of those elements you have in the formula. Here I have 3 chlorines, and so I actually have to account for all 3 chlorines. And I actually have to take this number and multiply it by 3 because there are 3 of them. And that'll give me the mass of the 3 chlorines. Now, we also have to add up the mass of the entire compound, which includes iron at 55.845, again, sorry about that, grams per mole, and also those 3 chlorines. I'm showing you all of the work here so you know where the numbers come from. If I work this out a little bit further, the top part becomes 106.359 grams, and the bottom part becomes 162.204 grams. And we're going to multiply that by 100 once we calculate it all out. And that works out to be, very quickly, divided by, comes out to be 65.5, or let's say 65.57% chlorine. And that would be the answer that I would report. So this compound happens to be, if I had a mass of it somewhere, some of it sitting around, 65.5% of the mass would come from the chlorine, and the rest would come from the iron. And that's how you do a mass percent. So it is your turn. We will get another example here. And this one has the question, what is the percent by mass of iron this time in the compound Fe2S3, or iron 3 sulfide? So we have iron and sulfur in there. So take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can calculate the percent by mass of iron in this compound, and I'll give you a couple seconds. Okay, so if you ended up with a total percentage of 53.73% iron, then good job. You are certainly a master chemist in the making. So we have 53.7, so I added up the 2 irons, put that on top, because there are 2 of them. For the bottom, I added up the weight of 2 irons plus the 3 sulfurs. You got to keep track of everything. Multiplied by 100, and it comes out to be 53.73% iron. And that's how you would calculate a mass percent using the molar masses from the periodic table. Right, so that's it, mass percents. And for this episode, if you have a suggestion of a problem you'd like me to attempt to solve on this channel, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day and happy solving.